97.9 The Box, it's the Madd Hatta Morning Show in the building. The incredible Mannie Fresh.
Hey, what's up?
So we got our 504 day that's going down on May the 4th.
Oh, yeah.
Being presented by Budweiser. Mannie Fresh is going to be the star of the show. Now, before we go back and talk about the past, I want to talk about Fresh. Often these days, I see you, they don't even want you for the performance. They want you to DJ.
Yes, sir.
How's that transition been? Because, for all these years, you've been a guy that's been with groups and got a chance to perform. Now they just want you to come in and DJ.
Well, I mean,
and I know you're originally a DJ.
Yeah, that's
right?
what I said. I started out as a DJ, and what's cool about that is it puts me back in touch with what's going on in the world. Like, so, because, I mean, music has changed, technology's changed, and everything that's going on. So I love DJing. Mm-hmm. But I never thought it would, kind of like what you said, where it then change to, folks is like, nah, let's get DJ Mannie Fresh.
Right.
And I love it, because it's me being relevant, you feel?
Mm-hmm.
How long were you DJing in New Orleans before, things popped off for you?
Ooh, man, I've been DJing maybe 25 years. Yeah, since I was young. So, yeah, and it took a while for it to happen. So all these dudes that think it happened overnight, hustle, pray, pray, hustle.
What was the moment for you when it all finally popped off?
I think my moment was not even being having a successful record. It's just falling in love with what you do. So my moment was the having actual 2 turntables. You got one, now you got to get the other one. When you got the other one and you got a mixer, that was my moment. Mm-hmm. So it's not about, for me, going, oh, you got a hit record or whatever. It was just that I loved what I do, and to have the instruments to do it, that was good enough for me.
So was the goal just to be a great DJ, and you just stumbled upon producing?
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah, the goal, my dad was a DJ, and my Christmas gifts used to be DJ equipment. When other kids was getting bikes and stuff like that, I really didn't get it at first. I was just like, well, why I got a mixer? I want a bike.
Right.
And the next, couple of months, I get a turntable, and then I start messing with it. And then, I was like, okay, yeah, this is kind of cool. This is what I want to do. And, and I guess my dad saw that in me, knowing
you think he knew?
Oh, yeah, he knew. He knew, because it was always instruments and stuff around. It was always something around that was, pointed my way to encourage me to do this.
Mm-hmm. When did it fall into, okay, I'm a DJ, I'm doing these things in DJ, but when did it, the whole producing thing happen?
I used to just do remixes. I used to copy people's stuff, when say if it was Dr. Dre and WA or something, and I used to just try to mimic those songs, and I would do them my own way, and probably put a bounce beat behind them and try them out at the club, and people started liking it, and it became this thing where it would be a segment of just Mannie Fresh playing beats. Mm-hmm. When I was DJing with house parties or wherever I was DJing at, it became okay, why don't you do your little thing that you do, with your remixes or whatever and all of that. And from that, I just kind of started doing original songs.
Who was the first person to give you a shot?
Wow, the first person.
You remember?
I did some stuff for some guys out of LA.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, and one of the first people was this guy Johnny J. He used to do music for Tupac. They brung me to get my first drum machine when I was in LA, my first sampler or whatever. And they, because I was doing it the old-fashioned way. I thought hey, if you made something repeat, you had to do it with a turntable. And it was it's this thing called a sampler. You ain't got to do it that way.
That's right.
So that was kind of the dudes that turned me on to technology. And my first little gig was I did some drums on a country album way back in the G. Like somebody, the drummer didn't show up, and it was just hey, do you know somebody who could play drums? And they told me go to the studio. I went to the studio. I put down some drums, and it was you shouldn't leave. Just hang out. So I started hanging out in studios or whatever in LA, and before you know it, it just was oh, well, he kind of know his way around the studio. The kid know how to scratch, he know how to, program drum machines. And from there, it just, evolved to something completely crazy.
I didn't even know that part of your story, Fresh, that you were even in LA.
Yeah. I was supposed to be in college, and I took that money and I ran.
Oh, okay. Now I see. Now I see.
And my dad was like, "You better make it, because if you come back, without something shaking, your mama gonna kill me and you."
So what was the first record that blew up for you then? After you started doing the beats?
Wow, one of the first records that blew up. Maybe some of the big timers stuff, like our early Hot Boy stuff, the stuff that the Houstonians know.
Did you know? Did you know that it was gonna happen? Did you feel it was gonna happen?
Oh yeah. I always felt that way. I always felt I just think you got to just have this thing in you that makes you feel it's gonna always be bigger than what it, looks like and sounds like. I always thought on the level of I made the record, so that's a success in itself right there. The rest of it is gonna fit in. And part of it was when I stopped hearing voices and believing what other people was telling me. It's like when somebody tell you, you'll never do that, you're not gonna make it, the people closest to you could definitely hurt you and hinder you. So when I stopped listening to that, I already knew I made it.
It was people close to you that...
Oh yeah. I had a girlfriend, man. I used to put on the refrigerator that I was gonna make $1 million and write it down, because that was one of my mom things. She would always say, like, write your goals down and look at them every day. And I used to put it on the refrigerator and look at it, and she used to be like, dude, that is so stupid. Why do you do that?
Wow.
And it took a while for me to just be like, wow, you lame, shorty. Like, this really gonna happen. Like, I'm really gonna do this.
So I know you had a chance to one day go back and see her.
Yeah, yes indeed, yes indeed.
I'm just curious, real quick. We got to find out. So whatever happened once the success happened, what was her response?
I mean, yeah, it was that. I always knew it was gonna happen. I always knew it. I just knew you needed motivation or whatever. So I was like, nah, you was a hater.
Now I got the drag rap.
Yes,
the beat
sir.
that everybody used in New Orleans. Just give me the history of this, because I don't know the real history of that beat. Because it seems like that's the groove that sets off everything.
Drag rap and brown beat. So drag rap was originally how I used to play it, was the regular version of it. Right. And just so happens maybe we was at this hole in the wall club and flipped it over to the instrumental. And New Orleans has always been big on 808 breaks. Anything that's got like an 808 in it, it always went well in our city. So I was like, I'm gonna start playing it from this one part of the song where they got a break, where, just the 808 drums come in. And that's pretty much the part that most people hear. And so from there, rappers started rapping off of it. Like, it would always be like this thing where people would challenge each other off of just me backspinning that record, that beat. Like, it started with just two of those and just me backspinning one break part of that song, like a little segment of it in the middle of the record. And then from there, it went from, believe it or not, at first it was more rap. But from rap, it went to more chant to what we call bounce now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because it was like, okay, we got some real rappers, but then all of a sudden we get somebody who dumb it down, but he wins the crowd. By going like, where they at, where they at, where they at. Then it's just like, oh, everybody like that. They like that a little bit more than somebody actually rapping on it. Right. And, and the early dudes who kind of killed it was Juvie. Like, Juvenile was, back then, my dad used to even play this back in the day, and Juvie used to rap off it when my dad was DJing at little hole in the wall bars or whatever. And then...
So would Juvie be like one of the first ones? Well, I guess as far as success is concerned, because I know he had some bounce to
one of the
Juvenile.
first dudes that kind of who put it out there was T.T. Tucker. He had this song. Where
was he from New Orleans?
Yeah, he's from New Orleans.
Okay.
Yeah, Tucker's from New Orleans. Okay. So he was one of the first, but it was actually popping off maybe a year before he even put it down. He was just one of the dudes who put it out like on some old, okay, wow, they made a record with this. Like, but it was jumping off in like hole in the wall clubs and that, like maybe if I was DJing in projects, like in a courtway or whatever, that was the highlight of what was going on. Right. If I had like 5 or 6 people that did their little things and did their little chants or whatever, like, the little stuff that you still hear that's relevant in bounce music, the call and response. So I kind of look at it even as the essence of hip hop. Like, it's the rawest form of a DJ and somebody else that, you got in an MC that got to get the crowd pumped.
Why did it never go outside of that beat? The Showboys drag 'em.
That's been crazy to me.
Like,
dude.
It has to, if it don't have that, like when you hear that, okay, and that was a New York group. A lot of people probably don't even know.
Yeah. I remember these dudes playing in New Orleans one time, and they did like they show, and they didn't sing that song. And we was just like, oh no, y'all can't leave here without. And they didn't know. They had no idea that that song was that popular. And when they did the song, like the crowd went crazy, and it was just like, holy shit. Now what's crazy, Young, so Cash Money jumps off. Let's fast forward even on the drag rap. Okay. I get sued by them And
What?
So, yeah, because they just like, hey, bro, you used our song, da da da, and I'm just waiting to hear like what they gonna say, and they were just like, you used it 30 times, and I was like, wow, 30 times, and they was just like, yeah. So they bring up all of these old songs and tapes I brung up or whatever, and this before Cash Money even really jumped off. They was just like, bro, you used our song like 30 times, and they had example of real talk like 30 times that I had like little songs that was floating around New Orleans or whatever that you know. So what we did was I agreed to do a song for them. They was just like, hey, if you do a song for us, we'll dismiss the lawsuit and we'll let you use the song. And I was like, done. I'm like, yo, so I can use this song whenever I want. And they was just like, yeah, you go ahead, just use the song.
So what was the song?
Drag rap. This song that's so critical in
Now, what's the song that you did
you
for
made
them?
Oh, I don't even know the name of it. I
just
swear I
did a
don't know the
random
name
one
of
to
it.
end the
I was just
lawsuit?
like, listen,
Wow.
y'all, when do y'all want this song? Let's get it done.
And so to this day, you can use that beat however
Yeah.
you want, and nothing. God, I bet they heard about that one. So do you even understand why that one beat? It's the sound of New Orleans.
Yeah.
Basically. And whenever somebody does a bounce track, that beat has to be a part of it, no matter what.
Part of like I was telling
Does
you.
that surprise you at all too? Or
Yeah, dude.
just-
I would have never thought this would still be going on.
So who would be the king of bounce then? Who would be the
Never.
creator? Are you the Godfather? Are you the creator?
I would say me and like two or three more DJs in New Orleans.
Okay.
Me and this dude, DJ Herb, me and Pee Wee, like a couple of dudes that was our thing. Those type of, me and DJ Duck, like, you know what I'm saying? The dudes who did that kind of stuff. And then it just took off. Like, you know, it was just like, it was kind of a culture even then when we was young. Like we would play Brown Beat in that song. And I was the one who put it in my drum machine. Like I said, I had this segment where I would do stuff where it was just all about me doing beats. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do something different. I put the claps in it and put them both together and start running that at block parties or whatever. And before you know it, everybody was like, that beat right there.
That's
Just
what they
that
call
beat.
it to this day.
Yeah.
That beat.
Yeah.
That beat.
That's how I was described. That's how I was described. That
That's
beat.
pretty much how that came to be. Like it would be like people would knock on a DJ thing and say, play that beat. Dude, play that beat.
You remember the first song that played on the radio? Your first song?
My first song? Oh, wow.
With the beat?
Wow, what would be one of my first? I mean, I probably don't because New Orleans was still playing underground stuff back then. That was big then because I always did remixes kind of like the way people do now, like all the little R&B songs that had acapellas. I put that beat behind them way back then, and that was big in New Orleans to play them way back then. So even when on the mix show, they would always play them. So I always had something in rotation.
Wow. So Fresh, when did you hook up with Cash Money?
Later on, probably like I had a friend Heavy that I was DJing with in Rumors, and I was like maybe 16, 17, and this was the idea of Cash Money. And then we revisited later on. He was friends with Baby and them. So later on, they was like, well, you know, Mannie is on. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he popping. And they brung this dude, Lil Slim. That was like one of their first artists. First generation Cash Money was a bounce label. It was a twerk label. It wasn't no rap or none of that. They had all bounce artists. This dude, Lil Slim, was the first song that I did for them. And the song was called Bounce Slide Ride. And that song just went crazy in New Orleans. And from there, it was just like, well, you the dude. So you're our producer from here on out.
But you know, there was nobody else producing the tracks. You did
I did.
all of them.
Yeah.
Up to probably just a few years ago, right? A little bit before Drake. It was all, you never felt, did it ever feel unfair? Because it seemed like it was a heavy load for one brother.
No.
And I had a chance to watch you. You don't remember, I had a chance to watch you. I watched you make 3 beats in a matter of minutes and get all them dudes, Wayne and all them when they were like, you know, real small, all on tracks. Like you work. So I mean, how does this dude know what he's doing? Like I watched you do a beat. I mean, you don't know who I was. I was just in the studio. I was just lucky to be a fly in the room. And you did a beat and you put it together literally. And I'm not exaggerating. Probably 10 minutes. It was a full song. You did it all on the, was it SP?
Probably SP.
It was an SP back. Yeah, SP. You knocked it out just like that. All right, they're going to be for Juvie. Then you started working on another one. I'm like, this dude is crazy. He was just knocking them out like I have nothing better to do. Did you mean? Did it mean to be turned? Because you turned into a machine.
This is what I love to do still to this day. You know, and if you love something, then you don't even consider it work.
Right.
You go and do something that you love. So, I mean, nothing was hard about doing it. Nothing is still hard about doing it. Like, it's just that you gotta, feel passionate about it.
Were you able to pinpoint the talent, like, or did Baby and them bring you the talent? Like, here's Juvie, here's Wayne.
A lot of it was me. Mm-hmm. When Juvie signed, because he liked the UNLV song, Drag 'Em From the River. He was just like, man, I was a fan of that beat. And we just caught Juvie one time getting off of work, and he started rapping. And I was just like, dude, this dude is so dope. Like, y'all got to sign him. Like, and from there, it's history. I knew Wayne dad. Wayne dad brung him around, like, you know what I'm saying? And,
his actual father.
Yeah, his actual father. So when he started rapping out, same thing, I was just like, man, this dude is...
Did you think he was going to turn out to be
what
he turned out to be?
Yeah, because he was
cool when he was young, but then later...
But even then, he was first one there, last one to leave. And if you didn't have a verse, he had one.
Right.
Like, if somebody was slipping, like, it was just like, oh, you ain't got nothing for that? I got something for that.
Was it competition?
Oh, yeah, it was definitely competition.
Really?
That's what made it so cool. It was always competition.
Friendly competition?
Yeah, friendly competition.
Did you ever have a favorite artist at the label to work with? I don't know if you could say it.
No, not really.
Really?
And the cool thing even about producing them, you got to take on somebody's life. You got to take on whatever it is about them. Like, if I was doing Juvie, I knew it had to be Juvie. It had to be something different. If I was doing BG, I knew it had to kind of be dark and gangster. You know what I'm saying? So that's what made it kind of cool to me. And when we got together with the Hot Boys, it could be something completely different.
So when y'all did all these different ideas, because everything was it always, okay, y'all gonna be the Hot Boys, then y'all gonna break out into solos, and then you and Baby did y'all thing. Was this a plan, or did it just, because it seems so seamless?
It was my plan, honestly. It was my plan.
No, for real, be real about it, yeah.
It was my plan, because I was just like, okay, we could break all of this down and turn these dudes into solo artists. We could start out this way, but everybody's got a different fan base, and and people liked Wayne for different reasons, like Juvie for different reasons, or whatever. So I was just like, now that we kind of established the Hot Boys, now let's break this down and give everybody, they own little thing.
Now it gets to the point where when y'all, I guess, I don't know where the tension came, or the misunderstanding, whatever you want to call it, because when you think Fresh, and to this day, when you think
all
Fresh,
I really want to see is the money.
You think Cash Money.
Okay.
What finally was, and if you can say, you probably can't, I don't know, but what was the final break where you said, like, you know what, I can't continue on like this, because you were such an integral part to the Cash Money story?
It was personal to me. You know what I'm saying? I really loved this, and part of it was it was becoming all about the money. And I was just like, this is still something that I love. Like, I did an interview not too long ago where I said Cash Money was the gift and the curse, and some people took it wrong. And what I mean was the whole flashy thing and all of that, that was just our thing that we fit in at. Like, in my era of hip hop, you had all kind of stuff. You had Public Enemy, you had Slick Rick, who was the storyteller, you had somebody, NWA, who was the gangster rapper, and you had Cash Money, who was the flashy dudes. So I was just like,
all this is purpose.
I was like, all of this is purpose. This is where we fit in at. But when it started turning hip hop into, that's all it's about, is flashy. And I was just like, nah, that was just our thing. That's not everybody thing. Mm-hmm. And then, everybody kind of was just like, well, that's what rap represents. And I'm like, nah, that's not what rap represents. So you think you felt like
the industry started to pigeonhole itself just because y'all created this little genre that was this is supposed to be us, but it's not supposed to be representative of hip hop.
Yeah, think about it. Since then, how is hip hop right now? Like, it's all about flash and money.
Right, so it hasn't changed.
It hasn't changed. It hasn't evolved.
But that's because of the impact of...
Yeah. Because of the
Mannie Fresh.
Yeah,
and Cash Money.
But weren't you even kind of, mocking, making fun of it with the candy-coated helicopters?
Yeah, you were saying some wild stuff.
Yeah, but I was even saying, like, this is impossible anyway. It's just all in fun. Like, you know what I'm saying?
A space shuttle on 20s.
And I was just like, on top of that, like, this is supposed to be the beginning of get your business right. Because, before that, most people didn't never see an independent label that came along and it was like, well, God, these dudes got money. They own their own masters. They da-da-da-da. So I thought our lessons was going to be for the next generation, get your business right. Get your, own your own stuff. Get it right. Not us turning into like, oh, wow. Yeah, we don't even care about what y'all talking about. It's all about the money. It's all about the paper.
So you feel like this new generation that was not the purpose?
I'm not saying all of them, but it's a lot of folks that it's all about money to them. It's all about getting paid. Like, you know, and we killing the whole culture, if you screaming culture, of what it is.
You sound like a little bit, man, like you not upset with yourself. Like, man, I created something, but that was not the intent.
No, that wasn't the intent. And, you know, and it was kind of screwed up. Just like I said, how I'm telling you in this interview, a lot of people said, well, he just slammed his record label and slammed it. And I'm
That's
like,
not
nah,
what you're doing.
that's not what I'm doing. What I'm saying is it was meant as that was our thing. That's where we fit in. And I knew it was going to be a couple of carbon copies, but I didn't think it was going to turn hip-hop.
The whole game.
Yeah, the whole game into get your money. Like, we all about flash, and you know what I'm saying? And
But you understand in hip hop, with anything, if I see for Mannie and Cash Money that they actually make money doing what they doing, and you've set the pattern, you set the stage for this is what make that money. Oh, well, that's what we need to do to get that bank.
Yeah, but as a older person, you for instance, we in our era didn't accept copies. We didn't accept somebody else being another Biggie. We didn't accept nobody else being you know what I'm saying? It was just like, man, get him out of here.
Right.
Nah, it's the norm. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's the norm. It's all right. You can sound like that. All y'all songs could sound the same. Everybody could, you know, and it's not me like
knocking. I get it.
This not me knocking. I'm just saying, like.
So who's at fault? Is it the artist at fault, or is it the public at fault? Is it the corporations that buy that because
it's a little bit of everybody. It's a little bit of everybody, you know, because as artists, sometimes you got to push a little harder, and sometimes you got to do it the independent way instead of selling out, especially if that's not what you believe in. I think a lot of kids right now in trouble every day, like, you know, when you read headlines and is a young artist and he got caught up in something, is because, like, you're not really being true to who you really are. You put yourself in a situation, now you got to answer for that.
Real stuff.
Let's talk about
Fresh.
twerking. Let's talk about that. No, because there would be no twerking if it wasn't for bounce music. For me, growing up in New Orleans.
Because you want to give credit to Cheeky Black. You said she is the creator of the term.
That's what I thought.
Twerk.
No, twerk been around. Like,
Who was one of the first to?
Honestly, some ghetto chicks. Like some hood project chicks, like that, you know, that was big. And she,
but it got to be somebody. It got to be somebody out of New Orleans, right?
Yeah, it's somebody out of New Orleans, but it was more of like some project lingo that, you know, that kind of like even DJ, like, you know, like we'll say like you going to the DJ. All of that was just broke down project. Like nobody would say like, you know what I'm saying?
What's
you going to see a DJ. You going to the DJ,
right?
Like, you know what I'm saying? Because hood chicks talk like that, like, and we just be like, okay, we going to the DJ.
But so there was nobody that like first made it real popular.
No, nobody. It was just popular. Like, oh, they twerking. Like,
The whole
you know what I'm
city
saying?
was
Yeah.
Okay.
You still want to give
It's
it to
like
Cheeky.
somebody
Don't
picked
still
it
give
up.
it to Cheeky.
No, because he's not Cheeky.
You know, if you heard somebody say something over and over again, and you got a chance to speak a little louder to them, and you on the mic, you gonna take that.
Cheeky took
So
it
she just was just like,
mainstream
oh,
first.
everybody. Yeah, she took it mainstream.
Okay.
She like, oh, they talking about they twerking in the hood, so I'm gonna run with that.
Now, and Fresh, how does it feel? Because here it goes now, years later, a lot of your music is being sampled. We were just talking earlier about the Beyoncé "Before I Let Go."
Yes,
a
sir.
little bit of Fresh. A lot of people don't know. They hear the bounce beat, but don't know that there's a portion of that that's actually Mannie Fresh beat. So
Yeah.
Mannie Fresh actually gets a check from it.
Yeah. So many bounce songs are being cleared right now to his nuts, dude. Like, it's just twerk heaven out there.
He's smiling big.
Utopia of twerk right now. To his nuts. It's a good time for, like, you know, even Drake stuff or whatever and all of that. Like, you know, all of it is kind of, you know, some kind of way. It was something that had to do with a Mannie Fresh song, one of my old songs or whatever. And like I said, and that's why it's important. Young guys, old guys, and all of that. Cross your T's, dot your I's, and get your business straight. Because it could come 20 years from now, and them checks is nice.
Do you feel like it's culture appropriation when you hear Drake or you hear Beyonce or any other artist incorporating the bounce sound in their music?
Yeah, because music is meant to use, you know.
So you don't mind it?
I don't mind at all.
Because a lot of people, they get upset like, oh, he's stealing our sound. He's making it bigger than what we had it. You know, it didn't get that big for us when we did it.
I always feel like this. If you let somebody beat you at something, do better than them. Do better than them. And on top of that, everything is based on stealing somebody's something. Behind every every fortune, somebody got whacked.
Spoken like a man that watched Game of Thrones. No, we ain't talking about Game of Thrones. I know y'all want to talk about that.
Something happened. You heard me behind everybody who made and I'm talking about wealthy. I ain't talking about rich.
No, I feel you. Something bad happened.
Yeah,
You're right.
something bad happened.
You're right. You do your history. Any corporation, go look at the research.
Yeah.
And you find out, ooh, they did that. Damn Rockefellers.
Yeah.
So after the breakup of Cash Money and Mannie Fresh, was there ever a low period where everything slowed down, or did you back away from the industry and say, I'm done?
Yeah. My sister got passed away, and I kind of dropped off the scene, and it was just one of them things that, I just had to redefine who I was and what was going on with me. And sometimes God got a way of reminding you what's important to you. And I think that was just one of them, because everything was going so right. Everything was going so right, and sometimes you kind of forget where you need to be at and what you need to be doing sometimes, and and it was just a awakening for me, dude. So I had to back up from doing all of this for a second, and just like I said, luckily my DJ thing, I was like, okay, if I'm gonna do this, that's where I'm gonna start it. I'm gonna start from where I came from, and that's that. Like I said, didn't think it was gonna jump off the way it jumped off. Didn't think I was gonna have the warm reception of people going, well, dang, we still check for Mannie Fresh. We still rock with you or whatever. Even in Houston, man, I've done so many festivals here where it was just me. It's just like, and I'm just like, and they come out. Yeah. So that right there is love, dude. That's but yeah, that was my
Was
period.
it scary?
Yeah.
I mean, because
dude,
all your success is attached to this one organization, and all of a sudden you decide, all right, I'm not going to be a part of this no more because I don't like the way things are going.
Yeah, and and even with that, I had to make peace with them. Like, I mean, me and Baby speak, me and Slim speak. We because I feel like I wouldn't want my kids growing up, to hate his kids or anything like that, because we done some great things. Unfortunately, some things just don't work out. But we grown men now, so I look at it like this: like I'm at peace with them. I wish them all the success in the world, but I know I got to walk my path a different way.
So I know Juvie went back and he did a record with Baby. You never is there a way to ever say never is never?
No, I think if terms are right, we'll do it.
Y'all think y'all ever do a reunion tour? Because I see a lot of groups.
Yeah.
If terms are right.
I mean, yeah, if terms is right, we gonna be there.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think he was clear. It was clear. If terms are right, everything is possible.
Yeah.
Okay.
And even with Wayne, I did some songs on his Carter, and he got some other stuff coming out right now that I got some stuff on.
So he still calls you and says, will you drop these for me?
Yep.
I would love to see the original Hot Boys, Mannie Fresh, Cash Money together again. I would love that. And I got to ask, is there a favorite Mannie Fresh track? Because I got my favorite.
I haven't done it yet.
Really?
Yeah. I haven't done my favorite.
Wait a minute.
I haven't had one that I was like, nah, that's the one.
So you saying there's going to be there's a track that you haven't done that's going to surpass, back that thing up?
Yeah. I haven't done it yet.
I'm be honest. I stopped that Get Your Shine on. I'm like, I don't know how he gonna top this. That's my song. You drop that right now. I'm like, I might drop a tear. I love that song so much.
Bro, if you love what you do, sometimes you had in moments like how you said. Like I've been in the club sometimes where a DJ might do a Mannie Fresh set. And the only thing I could leave out there and just be like, man, God is good. I'm like, man, I really got that many songs that people like. You know what I'm saying? And that right there, that's an accomplishment. Like, and to still be relevant in this day and time, where where this is crazy. Think about it. How many songs right now that's gonna come out you're gonna hear at a wedding reception 5 or 10 years from now?
Yeah, because you got to play back that thing up.
Yeah,
that's every wedding.
And people gonna be like, "That's my jam."
That's grandma.
Yeah,
the youngsters. That's the whole. That's part of your set. Me and Rob talk about that.
Everybody's dropping their bourbon and running to the floor, man.
I mean, I did a wedding and Mannie Fresh was actually there. I'm like, that look like Mannie Fresh over there. Gotta play, and I like they're like, play some Mannie Fresh. We gotta play back that thing up before this thing is over with. It's a requirement. It's an incredible career that you've had, Fresh. Will you ever write something about everything that you've been through?
Yeah, yes. I think that's overdue, bro. That's overdue, like, because there's a lot of people that want to know my story, how, without me saying it in a few minutes or whatever, like, you know, and ups and downs and all of that.
Yeah.
And I just like to tell, you know, especially young people, the real dude, you know, it takes time. It takes hard work. It takes dedication. Like, you know, and it's just not something that happens overnight. And even what we talked about earlier, please don't take it as I'm bashing you or whatever. I'm just challenging you to do something bigger, better, and greater. That's all.
That's probably the way that needs to end right there. I don't think Mannie Fresh in the building, 504 day going down. If you ain't got your tickets, go online, theboxhouston.com, or you can text 504, obviously, to 24024 for a direct purchase link. Mannie Fresh, always a pleasure, always an honor.
Thank you, sir.
I don't even know if anybody else had no questions. I was running my mouth so much. I'm sorry,
So,
Cooper.
Manny, I know all your songs, right? And I grew up jamming to them. What's a Mannie Fresh DJ set like, though? You know, because, you know, I'm
Can
going
he
to be out
say
of the
that?
504.
He gonna be at the 504. Can he give that out? That's why you coming to the event to see what the set is, right?
Sorry.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to. I know you want to know personally, but
What about your favorite New Orleans places? Some of your favorite spots?
okay.
All over. I'm still I'm still in New Orleans, like, you know, all the time. Like, so I still get down like all over. I still go to the hood spots, and I go to the good spots.
What's your favorite spot to get a po' boy?
My favorite spot, I don't go eat at restaurants. My mama cook. I go to my mama house.
When did you go to a restaurant though, man? Did they give you free food though?
Nah. They like, that's Manny. But you know, it's like being from, you know, like it's like Bun around here. Like people just like, that's Bun. He's from Houston. So, you know, they ain't no special favors. They just like, that's the man.
They love you unconditionally
You
forever.
said ain't no
you know?
special favors. So there's no special spot that you like to go to in New Orleans? No
Nah,
spot.
because
It's just
I'm
home.
just, it's just home. It's just home for me.
And what's your crawfish peeling technique?
I don't think I got a technique. Either you know how to do it or you don't know how to do
Well,
it.
I've seen some real bad videos on YouTube lately.
Yeah, there's no technique. You just grew up doing this. Like there's
head, tail, pinch the body, and you're out, right?
See, none of that don't exist. That ain't even, none of that don't exist.
You're not from New Orleans.
I knew you was. We knew you was from. We
That
just
is-
found.
that's
We
how
knew
I
when you
do
was
it.
still
That's how
That's how
saying.
you do it.
Yeah.
All right.
But you do it different.
I just kind of tear it open and get it done.
What?
I get it done.
What about?
So you have a technique. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, everybody has
Okay.
a technique, I think. Because when I
Fresh
teach
just
people, that's
told
how
you
I
that
teach
he
them.
has no.
You go, you twist the head, then you twist the tail, then you pinch the body, and then the whole shell comes off, and then you take the little black veiny thing out too, right? At least that, right?
No, all of that gotta go. No, all of that gotta eat all of
New
that.
Orleans, Janice?
I'm
Are you
telling
from New
you, I'm
Orleans?
telling
Listen,
you.
we knew she wasn't really from New Orleans when she came here. She said Wardy.
We need you to give one more. Do you have one New Orleans slang word?
Oh goodness, here she goes.
Because I did a video and I
And
said,
you said Wardy,
And
and
they-
everybody from New Orleans went off on
they
it.
said that's a seasonal term. I'm like, what season?
Wardy.
Whoa, they round. Round is kind of the same thing. That's
Round
your
is-
homie.
That's a new one. Round.
Yeah, that's
Got
my
it.
round.
Look,
But
so you don't
Wardy
even
is
know.
not seasonal, correct?
Nah, not really.
No.
Fresh just being nice.
Haters.
He just being
really.
nice. Don't get mad at me. It was your folks from New Orleans that said, "Come on,
They
that's
weren't from
seasonal."
New Orleans. They was just hating on the ground.
Oh,
But some of my first songs, now that I think about it, like the first Big Timers album when Bun was spitting on them. Bun had some verses on some of them that was so incredible, dude. Like the stuff that he was saying is nuts.
But they never came out.
Nah, they out there.
Yeah.
They out there. Little
all
light
out there.
skin.
I'm done.
Tell her, man. Let her know. Let her know.
you know
I
after
was just
you know
born
after
in
you
the
know
90s,
after
so I
I get
literally
it.
was like 3 years old listening to
That's all right.
Yeah.
you got to know your
We gonna
history though.
educate you. We're gonna educate you a little
Thank
bit.
you. I think I got a lot of history today too.
Your mom
Yep.
know.
Come on.
She does. That's what my mom told me. She was like, Chicky Black, I think, was one of the first.
Really?
Twerking, yeah.
All right.
All right, what's your okay? All right, since what's the top 5? I don't know if you can get away with this, Fresh. Top 5 New Orleans artists of all time.
Top 5? Oh, wow, man.
Will you get in trouble for this?
Nah.
Okay, top 5. New
My
Orleans.
top 5.
Your
that's who
top
I think.
5. To you, the hottest ever out of New Orleans.
I would say Wayne.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah. Juvie, right behind him. God, and it's got to be my top 5. Let me look at Mystical.
Okay.
Yeah, you definitely got to give Mystical his. Wow. Damn, this guy Mannie Fresh.
That's all right. I think we can be all right. I think we all right with that.
Pretty cool.
Okay.
Let me see who. Man, that's where I'm at right
Yeah,
now.
4.
I'm at 4, and Man, Tim Smooth. A lot of y'all might not even know Tim. He's an underground dude, but you know he's passed away. But we really
did you do a record with him?
Yeah, I did some
back
stuff
in the days.
Back in the day.
Yeah, it was on Yo Records or something like that. Yeah, that was one of the early Mannie Fresh. I got that back at the house. I got to get you to sign that for me.
Yeah,
I remember. Wow, R.I.P. to the brother.
Yeah,
All
Tim
right.
was like one of the first MCs around, you know.
But he was actually rapping.
Yeah, he
Because
was
that song that y'all
rapping.
had, y'all wouldn't bounce on.
Yeah,
That record wouldn't bounce.
He was rapping.
Yeah. Little knowledge for you, little light skin.
One more. What's your favorite memory of growing up in New Orleans?
Running from the law. Nah, DJing all the time. DJing high school dances. That was that you know. And I guess I DJed in most of the projects. So every day I had a gig going on young.
Wow.
So that was my life. That was my favorite times.
Mannie Fresh. Mannie Fresh.
Yay!